Hello again, everyone. Welcome to this Week 1 training video for the Arkansas Association of High School Officials. Appreciate you spending a little time. Also wanted to tell everyone how much I appreciated their help and their flexibility as we dealt with the tropical storm and the switching of dates. We had a lot of schools that switched dates, switched times, switched fields, and everybody chipped in. We were able to work all of those out. So good job, guys, and I appreciate that help. Let's dive right in. I got about 10 plays here I want to take a look at real quick. We'll talk about some mechanics and some rule stuff, and hopefully these will help you guys when you head out for the field here for Week 2. All right, let's talk for a minute about this play. We're going to freeze frame here. We're talking about position of the referee here. Now, what we want our normal referee position to be on these plays is 12 to 14 yards off the line of scrimmage, and then we want the referee 5 yards outside the normal tight end position. Now, your only mechanic from this position, if you need to back up, like this quarterback drops back to pass, the mechanic here is a 45-degree angle toward your sideline. So you would just back straight up. Now this play, you see that the quarterback gets right on top of the referee and his field of vision shrinks. He's not able to see the ends on each side of this formation plus the tackles. We really want the referees focusing on the tackles and the ends. So you've got to have a wide perspective and keep both of these players in your field of vision while keeping the quarterback in view. Quarterback, obviously, your key. We need to make sure you're ruling on any hits on the quarterback. But here the quarterback not really in any jeopardy of being hit. So you've got to be focused on those blocks right in front of the quarterback here and get a potential for a holding call, or you could even get the defense for an illegal hands to the face, or you might get a block below the waist. You know, there's just a plethora of things we want the referee looking for. So you got to be in a position here to help. And to do that, you've got to have proper position on the field, and you've got to be able to back out of this play with the quarterback at a 45-degree angle toward your sideline, keeping that close line play in perspective and making sure you're ready to rule on potential holding fouls or any fouls involving the line of scrimmage, as well as the hits on the quarterback. All right, here's a fun play to take a look at. This is forward backward. What we're taking a look at here is a pass comes out of the quarterback's hand and gets batted into the air and ends up on the ground. We got a long delay here, and we got an incomplete signal from the head linesman. So what I want to talk about with this play is who is going to make this ruling. We need to make sure that we cover in our pregame how we're going to handle plays that the quarterback drops back and immediately throws the ball. This is a situation where I don't believe the line of scrimmage officials are going to get too far from the line of scrimmage, and so what we need to do is come up with a mechanic and how we handle these plays. And the way that I like these plays officiated is who the ball is coming at. If it's coming out at the line judge, then we want the line judge to rule forward or backward. If it's coming out at the head linesman, as is in this play, we want the head linesman to rule forward or backwards. The reason that we're doing it this way is because in the high school, in these five-man mechanics, both of these line of scrimmage officials are going to officiate mechanically the exact same way. So this ball comes out pretty quick, bam, right there out of the quarterback's hand, right at the head linesman. And so he makes the ruling here incomplete. Now let's talk philosophically about what we want to do with these plays, forward or backward. If we are not 110% sure that these plays are backward, then we want them ruled as forward, incomplete. They get on the ground, we don't want any cheap turnovers. So we come up, we see this ball come out. We're not 110% sure that it's backwards. Boom, hits the ground easily, incomplete pass. We don't want to split hairs. We don't want to have to get a protractor out, lay it out on the video here and figure out whether, half a yard this way, half a yard that way. We're not going to split hairs. Clearly backwards, this would be a fumble. We rule this a live ball. Straight down the line of scrimmage, slightly backwards. We're not 110% sure. Bam, incomplete. Give us an opportunity to get more of them right than we get wrong, and we're going to end up with no cheap turnovers. So let's be sure and cover this, guys. In our pregame, forward, backward, how we're going to handle plays, and a two-step drop with the quarterback, three-step drop with the quarterback, and who's going to help on these. Mechanically, how we're going to work them with a five-man crew. Cover it, be consistent, and remember the philosophies. It's also right there in the rule book for you. When in doubt, complete or incomplete is incomplete. Same thing with forward or backwards. When in doubt, forward. Let's make the rules that way. Try to keep the game more consistent. Coaches are going to understand if these are half a yard one way or the other. When we look at the film review, we'll be able to clarify those with them. So good job with this play for this crew. This is an incomplete pass. I like this little segment we call positioning and coverage. This is for our line of scrimmage officials on this particular play. We're going to have a sweep here to the near side of the field. And I want to watch the line judge here on this play as he begins to track his way down the field, gets around a couple of players there to get a spot that's out of bounds. And what I want to suggest on this play is, what is wrong with your position right at the line of scrimmage? What if you just turn and focus on this action? Because here's the block that we need to be looking at right out here ahead of the play. This is a potential block. We have a potential hold right here. And if you look right here at this line judge official, you can see that he's staring actually at the ball carrier. And the ball carrier is not really going to create a foul. So really what we want to do is kind of be looking through the ball carrier in a position where we can see the blocks out ahead of him. Now, if this ball comes out, we certainly would want to see that. Or if he gets grabbed by the face mask, or he grabs the defender by the face mask. So what you kind of got to do is have one eye on the ball carrier and one eye up the field, these blocks that are out ahead that could spring him to the outside. And then from the line of scrimmage, if this official just rotated with the play and stood still and officiated, this out-of-bounds spot, it's not a tough spot to get from right here at the 22-yard line. So what I want to try to impress upon you here is, don't be in too big of a hurry to get down and be too close to the action, because when you get too close, okay, your field of vision begins to shrink. You're losing perspective on the outside. The dead ball stuff that might occur around the pile is going to be tough for you to see. You're right up here in the middle of the action where people are getting on and off the pile, and you just don't have a good perspective. You don't need to be there for the spot. So this would be a great play to just stand still and officiate. Be ready to move if this runner makes it to the outside. But if this play just continues and ends up out of bounds, you want to immediately cut the clock, stop the clock, stand where you are, continue to officiate. Be a great dead ball official. And you can get this out of bounds spot from here, and you can just wait for the pile to clear up, be a great dead ball official, move into the area where the runner went out of bounds, 90-degree turn in there, spot the ball in the paint out of bounds, and you're right ready to officiate the next play. Don't be in too big a hurry to get near the ball. Stay away from the ball carrier. Keep that perspective. Make sure you've got a good spot, but be wide, be looking out, and be a great dead ball official. That's our coverage this week. We'll try to do this every week, and what we're going to call it is just position and coverage. Next up, a little segment called Hustle Don't Hurry, and boy, there's a lot of things to look at. Here's a really quick dead ball foul we're going to get on the defense, and there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about in this play. But let's start out with the line judge. He's down here on the 45-yard line, bottom of the screen here. Now look at his body mechanics. Hands on the hips. And this is what's great about watching yourself on video. You can see these little things that you might be doing on the field that you don't even realize that you're doing. But look, he's got his offside signal there before we ever even start the play. But the hands on the hips, I just don't like the way it looks. And you look at yourself on video here. It just doesn't look good. Look bored. Like this whole thing's kind of a pain in your hind end. But then we got, look at the down and distance here. 4th down, and it's 4th and long, but then we get the defensive end here. He jumps offside. And we got a throw, a flag here, and a whistle. Now look how long it takes us to stop this clock. And then the walking out. The walking looks very lazy. It's not a lazy official, but just looking at it on video, if you don't know this guy, and you don't know the situation here, I mean, the walking out, the offside preliminary signal there, walking out, it just looks lazy. What we need to do here, this is what I call blow, throw, and go. Okay? As soon as you see this defensive player jump into the neutral zone, we want him to clearly jump into the neutral zone on this play. He's clearly in the neutral zone. Blow that whistle, throw that flag in the air, go kill the clock, go running inside here. Crash all the way in. And as soon as you know that none of the players are going to mix anything up, then you just veer off toward the referee. But you're coming crashing right in toward the ball, being right there ready to break up anything that goes on. And umpire, head linesman, you guys come crashing into, killing the clock. You don't have to throw your flag. We only want one flag right here. So come crashing in, though, and be ready to intervene and make sure nothing crazy happens after we have this whistle at this spot. All right, now let's move to the referee here for just a second. Notice the referee walking toward the press box while he's giving these signals. Hey, guys, just get out into a clear space. If you don't have a microphone, just get someplace where everyone in the press box can see you, and then stand still, give your signals, practice your announcement. If you don't have a microphone, we still want prior to the snap or dead ball, offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down. Go ahead and make that announcement. Get in the practice of using the verbiage that you would use if you had a microphone, even if you don't have one, because, hey, we're really on these schools to add microphones. It really adds a great element and a great entertainment value to the game. It also makes it a lot easier for the officials to communicate with the coaches, let everybody know what's going on. So, hustle, don't hurry. Blow, throw, and go. Be on top of your game here when we have these dead ball fouls. Make sure nothing crazy happens in the dead ball intervals. But let's hustle, don't hurry. All right, guys, let me set this up for you. This looks like a pretty routine play, but there's lots to talk about here. As we're going to talk about the money line, the goal line. We can also talk about the money line as the line to gain on 3rd or 4th down when 1st down is a critical spot. What we're going to talk about here is getting an official to the goal line before the ball carrier arrives, stationary, ready to officiate this play. This is an important play, although it's 1st down. What we want this to do, you can see the head linesman here is stationed correctly on the line of scrimmage. Now, his mechanic, as we're snapping this ball from about the 3-yard line, his mechanic is immediately moved to the goal line. Set up on the goal line and wait for the ball to get here. We're going to have a quarterback dive play here over like the B gap and run in. It's clearly a touchdown, no question about it, but we just walk to the goal line, don't get there timely, and we're actually following the play as the quarterback dives into the end zone. Had this been a really tight play where we could have had a double action, or it's really unsure whether he gets in the goal line or not, we're not in a good position to officiate when we're trailing a play like this. If we had hustled out at the snap, been set up at the goal line, there's a play at the goal line, we're right there, bam, we can make our call. And they may not like our call, but they're not going to say we were out of position or we didn't have the right angle. So short yardage plays, anytime it's 1st or 2nd down and goal from the 7-yard line or in, we want the official to immediately be moving to the goal line and make your first spot at the goal line. There's a point that we lifted off of the CFO West bulletins for this week that's in our bulletins on officiating that money line and getting there on critical situations, standing still and ready to officiate. So, a little bit of goal line mechanics. That's going to wrap it up for this week. I know I said we were going to do 10 plays, but we're already well over 12 minutes here, and I want to keep this thing. Don't want to lose you in the first week here. So some of these plays we've already pulled out, we'll use next week. Get another training video out. Appreciate you watching that. Any questions about this? Hey, be sure and drop us an email. It's toddallen65@mac.com. There's the email address there. Until next week, hope to see you on the field and have a great week.